the World Bank president, and other leaders in quick succession we are seeing as we flip through these frames coming in from the G20 summit venue in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And India is Prime Minister, they're sitting next to Joe Biden, the US president, the outgoing US president. And this summit is taking place at a very important time in world geopolitics, and a transition of leadership happening in the United States. The war in Europe are continuing. In fact, there has been an increased intensity that we have seen over the last 1 week. And India is part of the Troika, which is the past president and the present president of G20, which is Brazil, and the next president, which is going to be Saudi Arabia, I believe. And so all these three nations constituting the Troika, there is going to be a session dedicated to the themes spearheaded by these three nations. And after this launch event of the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, immediately after that there is the first session, which is again on fight against hunger and poverty, and which is going to last for about 2.5 hours. That really gives you an idea of the kind of focus that the G20 leaders have this time on the issue of hunger and, of course, poverty eradication. After which the leaders would be closeted for an hour for a working lunch, and which would be served in the plenary room itself, we are being told, which means that the summit itself is chock-a-block with sessions that the leaders have no time to sort of go in a retreat and have a leisurely lunch. After that, there is a session on reform of the institutions of global governance, in which we are going to discuss, in the pictures, Prime Minister having a light-hearted conversation with Joe Biden. Earlier we saw pictures of President Xi Jinping. Remember, Chinese president skipped the G20 summit in New Delhi last year, but is there in Brazil. And India is also part of BRICS with Brazil and China, and of course Russia and South Africa. We have Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African president there, having a chat, three-way chat between President Biden, South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa, and Prime Minister Modi there. You can see Anthony Albanese behind them, and behind Prime Minister Modi is External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, Justin Trudeau loitering around somewhere, and these are pictures coming in from Rio de Janeiro. So the second session after the lunch is on reforms of the global institutions of governance, and that is going to go on for about 1.5 hours, after which there is time fixed for bilateral meetings of about 2 hours, in which Prime Minister would be engaging with these world leaders one-on-one. Then there is time again slotted for bilateral meetings. So effectively from about 3:30 p.m. Brazil time to 7 p.m., 4 hours slated for bilateral meetings, and that would wrap up the day insofar as the G20 summit is concerned for tonight. Brazil is about 8.5 hours behind in the Indian Standard Time, the Brazil time or the Rio de Janeiro time. And so what the pictures we are getting now, it is about 7:30 p.m. India time. So it should be about 11 a.m. Brazil time. And these are pictures coming in from the first session, the plenary, where the leaders gathered. Remember the kind of leadership India provided to G20 with a significant focus on global south. And the G20 Troika actually is India, Brazil, and South Africa, and that's why you're seeing Cyril Ramaphosa in that animated conversation with Prime Minister Modi and President Biden. It's interesting, the seating arrangement, where Prime Minister is sitting next to the US President, or the US President sitting next to Indian Prime Minister, and Prime Minister, of course, sitting next to the present chair, which is Brazil, and President Lula da Silva there. The kind of leadership India provided to G20 with a focus on global south, the prioritization of global south, which saw African Union, the AU, becoming a member of G20 with its 52 members, 52 member states, and this is the first time that African Union is part of the G20 as a full-fledged member. Other leaders there in the pictures, these are world leaders. So apart from the G20 nations, which is now G21 with African Union a member, there are international organizations that participate. So for example, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the United Nations Secretary General is supposed to be there, and all these leaders deliberate on the global geopolitical, geostrategic, and geoeconomic situation. It would be interesting how the present G20 Leaders Summit responds to the ongoing wars, one in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, the other in West Asia between Israel and Hamas. We'll keep close track of the developments there and keep bringing to you those pictures from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, where the G20 Leaders Summit is taking place. Moving on for now, coming back home and to Manipur. Amid the unrest in the state, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh is holding a meeting with the NDA legislators and ministers at the Chief Minister's office. Around 20 legislators of the NDA, including 5 of the NPP and 5 of the NPF, are in the meeting. Now that's interesting because NPP had withdrawn support from the BJP government of the N. Biren Singh, the BJP government of N. Biren Singh yesterday, and despite that, of the 7 NPP MLAs, if 5 are still there in the meeting, it's very interesting development. Let's try to understand what's happening on the ground. Anirudh Bhakat joins us, our correspondent there, live from the ground in Imphal. Anirudh, if you can tell us, how come these 5 NPP MLAs are there in the meeting, and what does that mean? Can we say that the N. Biren Singh government is stable and secure and that it's not falling anytime soon?
Well, I would say, given the fact that still many BJP legislators are missing from this meeting, it is also a clear indication that the numbers game, if the numbers game we go by, then numbers are not definitely in favor of Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. However, yes, he has managed to get the support of the 5 NPP legislators, though the NPP had officially withdrawn, and former Deputy Chief Minister Joy Kumar has also clearly said that they are willing to work with a new government or a new Chief Minister, but not the incumbent one. 5 of the NPP legislators who had been in constant touch with Chief Minister N. Biren Singh are present inside in this meeting. NPF has already made it clear that they are not going to withdraw support from the government. They will continue to be an ally of the NPF. So yes, the indication that some of the NPP legislators being there, yes, the Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has managed to gain their support. However, 2 of the legislators are reportedly in Delhi, and they are not going to beg the
Okay, Anirudh, stay with us. That's an interesting aspect that you are indicating to, that while the NPP MLAs are there, the BJP MLAs are missing, which means that there is still a political crisis panning out, and that's why it seems the Chief Minister there at his office closeted with all the NDA MLAs trying to tide over the crisis. Moving on, but staying with the story, which is that the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the RSS, has condemned the latest violence in Manipur. RSS has condemned the unrest and asked for the government to resolve the conflict. In fact, the governments, which means both the center and the states. Center and the state. Okay, let's understand what's happening. The RSS said that this needs to be sincerely resolved and that both the governments should work in tandem. RSS sending across a strong message, it seems, Suesha, that it's not happy with what's happening on the ground. What's the sense you are getting from this development of RSS comment on the Manipur situation?
Abhishek, first up, I'd like to take you through the latest details of the statement that has been made by the RSS, just to give our viewers also a sense that this is not the first time that they are calling out the situation in Manipur. In fact, it has been since 19 months that unrest continues to prevail. This, of course, when the centre had intervened and we had seen a slight respite in between. But even in 2023, the RSS had urged for peace in Manipur. And yet again today, the RSS is calling both the centre and the state to sincerely, quote unquote, resolve the issue in Manipur. Certainly tense. In fact, the statement that has been released by the RSS that reads, and I quote, that we strongly condemn the recent spate of violence, particularly focusing on merciless killing of women and children by the Kuki militants after taking them into captivity. It is unfortunate that 19 months of violence in Manipur, which started on the 3rd of May 2023, has remained unresolved. Due to the ongoing violence, innocent people have suffered immensely. The RSS Manipur strongly condemns the inhuman, brutal and merciless acts of killing women and children after taking them into captivity. The act is cowardly and goes against the principles of humanity and coexistence. The central and state governments should sincerely resolve the ongoing conflict as soon as possible. This statement coming in from the RSS yet again after what had happened in Jiribam district. Now, even referring to today's developments, Abhishek, where we've seen not just the political rivals of the BJP, but even their own alliance partners in Manipur, the NPP having called off its alliance with the BJP in the state. Although that does not topple the government in any which way, but the kind of comments made for Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, where a lack of leadership and a failure of leadership is being called out. We understand that today a high-level meeting was chaired by Union Home Minister Amit Shah, where the centre is not just monitoring the situation in Manipur very closely, but also 50 CAPF companies that are also to be sent to Manipur in order to take the situation under control. Yes, it has been rather tough to actually find a long-term resolution, given how the Kuki versus Meitei conflict has been ongoing. But especially after what happened in Jiribam and the kind of unrest that has been unfurling ever since, today the RSS yet again has put out this statement over the ongoing unrest and urging the centre and the state to resolve the issue.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a very clear and strong position RSS has taken, Suesha. And it seems a message is being sent across by the ideological mothership of the BJP that since the party is ruling both at the centre and the state level, they should come together and do something about this spiral of violence or unending spiral of violence in Manipur. Thank you, Suesha, for joining us. Moving on to a breaking news development coming in after Rahul mocked the Hindu unity call earlier in the day while addressing press in Mumbai. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath of Uttar Pradesh has reiterated "Ek hai to safe hai" slogan. During a rally in Sahibganj in Uttar Pradesh, Yogi stated that the country became a slave when Hindus got divided. Now we have to remain united. Listen in to Yogi Adityanath.
अब पटना नहीं है, बटे थे तो अब पटना नहीं, एक रहेंगे, सेफ रहेंगे, सेफ रहेंगे, न बटेंगे न कटेंगे, एक रहेंगे, सेफ रहेंगे। इस संकल्प के साथ हमें कार्य करना है और यही आह्वान करने के लिए आज मैं आपके पास आया हूं। बहनों और भाइयों, मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूं, अयोध्या में अगर हिंदू बटा नहीं होता, 500 वर्ष पहले जाति के नाम पर बटा नहीं होता, तो अयोध्या में अपमान नहीं झेलना होता। अगर हिंदू बटा नहीं होता तो काशी में अपमान नहीं झेलना होता। हिंदू बटा नहीं होता तो मथुरा में अपमान झेलना नहीं होता। हम इस जब बटे थे अपमान झेलना पड़ा था। और इसीलिए मैं आपका आह्वान करने के लिए आया हूं कि बहनों और भाइयों, बंटना नहीं है। जाति के नाम पर बांटने वाले नेता समाज के दुश्मन है, देश के दुश्मन है। इनसे सावधान रहना है और सावधान रह करके एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की परिकल्पना को साकार बनाने के प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के यहां आह्वान को आगे बढ़ाना है। विकसित भारत की परिकल्पना को आगे बढ़ाना है।
All right, getting a breaking news development coming in. Gangster Lawrence Bishnoi's brother, Anmol Bishnoi, a gangster in his own right, who's involved in multiple cases of crime, including murder. The latest one being of Baba Siddiqui, earlier of Sidhu Moosewala, has been detained by US authorities based on a request made by Mumbai police. Let's go to Shawan Sen for more details on that. Shawan, what more can you share with our viewers?
Well, in fact, a Mumbai court had already issued a non-bailable warrant against Anmol Bishnoi. Remember, he's wanted in 2 cases registered by the National Investigation Agency. Apart from that, his name also surfaced during the investigation that was carried out in the Baba Siddiqui murder. Now, as far as Anmol Bishnoi is concerned, his name first surfaced during the Sidhu Moosewala case, which was being probed by the Punjab police. What we are given to understand is that he had fled from India on a fake passport and had entered Canada, and thereafter he was in United States of America. This is after a request that was made by the Mumbai police and the Interpol had essentially issued an RCN, and thereafter he has been arrested. We're being told that the Mumbai police is already working towards extraditing Anmol Bishnoi so that he could be brought back to India.
All right, thank you so much, Shawan, with those details. And with this, we come to an end of this bulletin. In fact, after a short break at 8 p.m., Super Prime Time Max. Join in Arnab Goswami as he takes you to 3 debates. One, the Sabarmati Report movie, which has been endorsed by the Prime Minister and which center stages the whole aspect of Sabarmati train carnage, beginning the 2002 spiral of violence in Gujarat, which was attempted to be hidden by the ecosystem in Delhi at that time. Short break.
Maha flashpoint over Muslim reservation. After Telangana, Congress Muslim quota in Maharashtra. BJP versus Congress showdown over Maha-Muslim quota. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.